At first, it felt unreal. A quiet update, a sudden headline, and a name many hadn't heard in years, but instantly remembered. Melanie Watson had passed away. She was only 57. For many viewers, the news brought back memories of a different time, a different era of television. Because Melanie Watson wasn't just an actress. She was part of a show that defined the 1980s. But her story didn't begin or end on television. Melanie Watson was best known for her role as Kathy Gordon on the classic sitcom Diff'rent Strokes. Her appearances were brief but memorable. She stood out not because of flashy storylines, but because of presence. What many viewers didn't know at the time was that Melanie was living with a rare genetic condition called osteogenesis imperfecta, often known as brittle bone disease. It meant her bones were extremely fragile. Even small movements could lead to fractures. This wasn't something she hid. It was part of her life, and it shaped everything that came after. Despite the challenges, Melanie continued forward. But eventually, she stepped away from acting. Not because she disappeared, but because she chose a different path, a quieter one. After leaving Hollywood, Melanie devoted herself to helping others. She founded a nonprofit called Train Rite, an organization focused on training shelter dogs to become service animals for people with disabilities. It wasn't a side project, it became her purpose. People close to her say this work meant everything to her. Helping others live more independent lives was where she felt most fulfilled. That's why the news of her passing hit so hard. According to her family, Melanie was hospitalized in Colorado Springs after suffering internal bleeding. Her condition declined quickly. Despite medical care, she passed away in the hospital. Her death was confirmed by her brother, who described her as strong, compassionate, and deeply committed to helping others. There were no signs of foul play. This was a medical tragedy. As the news spread, fans of Diff'rent Strokes began sharing memories. But so did people whose lives were changed by the work she did after television. That part of her story mattered just as much. Because Melanie Watson's legacy wasn't only about the role she played on screen. It was about resilience and choosing purpose even when life made things harder. She lived with pain, with limitations, and still chose to give. In a world that often remembers people only for their fame, Melanie Watson leaves behind something deeper: impact. Some lives shine brightly on screen. Others shine quietly in the lives they change. Melanie Watson did both.